How do you recover from burnout? That's the question that I've been finding myself asking, not just as a doctor, but because I'm experiencing burnout myself. And before going through it, I thought that I understood recovery. I'd spent years working as a public health doctor, looking at well-being. And if someone had asked me, how to actually recover, I probably would have looked at things like stress management, sleep, exercise, building resilience, and all of those things matter. But when I actually experienced burnout, I realized I was asking a much deeper question, not just how do I get my energy back, but how do I get so disconnected from myself in the first place? So I've started looking at what the research evidence about burnout actually shows. And what this journey has also been teaching me about rebuilding a different relationship with work, but also life and also myself. And if you're interested in the research, I've put references in the description below. So the first thing that I've seen is that burnout recovery is often misunderstood. We sometimes treat it like a broken phone battery, recharge it or plug it back in and wait until it gets back to 100% and then return to exactly what you were doing before. But we're human and we're not machines, we're not robots. And burnout is often not just a lack of energy. As we know, the World Health Organization describes burnout as an occupational issue, a phenomenon that results from chronic workplace stress that hasn't been successfully managed. And research suggests that recovery usually needs looking at both the individual, but also the environment that they're operating in. And that's been changing how I look at things because my first instinct was, how do I fix myself? But maybe a better question has been, what is this experience showing me? Now, I remember over the last few weeks when I've finally had time to get away from my work during burnout recovery, I've had some space. I've been walking, I've been swimming, reflecting, sitting quietly, and honestly doing what I had always done, trying to solve, trying to analyze, trying to create the perfect burnout recovery plan. I've been reading, I've been reflecting, I've been looking for answers. And that's when I've been starting to notice something. I think I've turned burnout recovery into yet another project, another thing to optimize and, another thing to fix. And there's a kind of a strange irony in that. I think, the same mind that helps me succeed has also been the mind that didn't know when to stop. And I think I've been thinking that, what if recovery isn't about becoming an upgraded version of the same person? What if it's about recovering who I am underneath all of this? So the first thing that the research evidence shows is to support yourself, but stop treating yourself like the problem. And what it shows is that individual support can definitely help. Research has looked at things like professional coaching. I've definitely seen the benefits of that, both as someone who's received coaching, but also coaching others. Mindfulness-based approaches or cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance, physical activity, and studies suggest that these approaches can reduce aspects of burnout for some people. But this is where my thinking started changing, because as people who care, as people who see ourselves as wanting to change things for the better, to improve circumstances, as high achievers, our instinct is often, give me a tool, give me a strategy, tell me exactly what to do. And we turn ourselves into the next improvement project. And that's definitely been me. But I'm wondering whether the goal isn't creating a stronger version of the same stressed person. Maybe part of burnout recovery is reconnecting with the part of us that existed before all the pressure, before all the expectations, before constantly trying to prove or achieve or solve. Because I think I'm starting to understand the nature of our experience a bit better. I'm starting to see that my well-being isn't something I always have to chase externally. I've started noticing that my thoughts, my stress, my fears are constantly shaping how I experience work as well as life in general. And if I maybe relate differently to these thoughts, I feel like there's more space, more clarity, more creativity, not because everything outside immediately is changing, but maybe my relationship is changing with these thoughts, with these concerns. And that brings me to the second thing that research shows. It says, change the conditions, the work conditions, because burnout isn't really an individual problem. And this has probably been the biggest shift for me. The evidence definitely suggests that organizational approaches can sometimes have even greater effects than individual strategies alone. Things like addressing workload, helping staff have autonomy, have access to support and psychological safety, but also how work itself is designed. Because just take an analogy of a plant. Imagine it's not growing, it's not thriving. And we could spend all day trying to make the plant tougher, make the plant stronger, make it more resilient. But eventually we have to ask, what about the soil? What about whether it's getting enough sun? What about its environment? And this has hit me personally because many of the things that led me into my medical public health career, also a desire to think innovatively and entrepreneurially, have been pretty cool things. We see problems, want to help, want to improve systems. We care deeply. And these haven't been weaknesses for me, but without awareness, I think caring can become carrying. Responsibility feels like a sense of having to control. Seeing things, seeing how they could be better feels like it's becoming frustration about everything that isn't perfect. So I've started asking, how do I still care without burning myself out? Because maybe the answer isn't caring less. Maybe it's caring differently. Still creating, still contributing, still trying to make things better, but perhaps from a place of more clarity, less fighting reality and more responding wisely. And then the third thing that the research shows is that recovery is not just about returning, it's actually about rebuilding. And this, I think, is the part that I haven't been expecting. Because when burnout first happened, I thought my goal was simple. Just get back, recover, get my energy back, get my old self back, get my ability to perform and do the work back. But the more I've been reflecting, the more I've also become curious and wondering, do I actually want to rebuild the exact same person who burnt out in the first place? Because that version of me achieved a lot, but that version also ignored signals. I think that version attached so much of my identity to being a doctor, to being a problem solver, an achiever, a leader, a team player, a person who helps. And when those things started feeling difficult, I started wondering, who am I without all of that? And I think maybe that's the invitation inside burnout recovery, not just how do I return to work, but how do I return to myself? I think maybe burnout recovery isn't only about getting energy back. Maybe it's about coming alive again, finding curiosity again, finding playfulness and creativity again, finding that spark again. Not because every circumstance becomes perfect, but because we reconnect with life itself. So when I ask, how do you recover from burnout? I think the answer that I'm starting to see has 3 layers. First, support yourself. Look after your body, mind, and well-being. Second, look honestly at your environment. What needs to change? And then third, reconnect with yourself, because maybe the goal isn't becoming strong enough to carry everything. Maybe wisdom is learning what was never yours to carry. And that's really why I'm exploring this journey publicly, because burnout recovery can feel incredibly lonely, especially when there's so little access to good care, especially when from the outside it looks like we should have everything figured out. So, alongside these episodes, I'm creating a space for people like us asking these bigger questions. How do we recover? How do we create meaningful work? How do we build lives that, you know, don't have this constant need to recover from? And if that resonates, there's more information in the description below. So earlier we were talking about changing the environment around us, but I think there's also another question that I'm becoming fascinated by. What if the biggest environment affecting us is actually the one inside our own mind? And that's beginning to change how I start thinking and seeing stress and overthinking too and burnout. And that's what I'm going to be exploring as we go forwards.